Hello and welcome to the St. Martin's Church podcast. This week I've interviewed our curate, Phil, and I was really interested to find out about his journey ending up here at Liskeard with his family. And they've been here about 7 months or so, so it's still kind of new for them. So this begins a series really over the next few weeks where I'll be interviewing different people and hearing about their own stories and their journeys of how they've got to where they've got to, and then how that fits in with the church here in Liskeard. So I hope you enjoy hearing what Phil had to say.
So my name's Phil. I'm been here 7 months. I came here with my wife, and I have 3 daughters. Older daughters, eldest being 24 and the youngest being 18. We came from a small town just outside Bristol called Clevedon. We lived there for about 14 years.
I'm told that Clevedon has the best pier in the UK.
That's right.
Would you
as
agree?
long as you don't want amusements.
Oh,
It's the best Victorian pier.
Ah, I see.
And they actually do steamboat cruises from the end of it in the summertime.
So you were you were in Clevedon.
Yeah, I've been out of the Anglican Church for a long time. I was brought up in the Anglican Church, and then we met my wife, who's from a Baptist background, and we were married at the age of 20, so many years ago. And we basically went to whichever church we felt comfortable with, which we felt could be a family to us. And so we've got between us, we've got quite a varied background of churchmanship. Whilst being a member of a free church, we'd been there for about 10 years, and for various reasons we felt we ought to leave that church, not for anything that the church did, it was all for personal reasons. We then started looking around churches wider, because Clevedon is a small town, a bit like Liskeard.
Yeah.
Slightly bigger than Liskeard, but still quite small. And word would get around, especially between the churches. So we didn't want rumours of us leaving such and such a church and going to another church.
Yeah.
So we looked outside Clevedon. So we went around Bristol and the wider area, and we ended up at a church in Weston-super-Mare. Mainly
Also known for its pier.
Also known for a very different style of pier.
It does have amusements.
Yes.
I once went go-kart. I think it was go-karting.
Yes, the go-karting track's great. I love it there.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, so we ended up at a church called St. Paul's in Weston-super-Mare. Our 3rd week of being there, we were approached by the church warden and asking how we'd be more involved with the church. And we were thinking, we're just going to stay here for 6 months and sit at the back, and then to go back to find a church in Clevedon once the dust had settled slightly. Yeah. So the church warden came up and said, what do you want to be involved with? And as you know, we have backgrounds in children's and families work, and then we knew they were trying to get a messy church started, so we said we'll be involved with the messy church. And all of a sudden our Sundays disappeared because we were at church, and then setting up for the morning service, setting up church for Messy Church, which happened on a weekly basis.
Wow.
And facilitating Messy Church up until about 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Wow.
So I worked as a structural engineer before that. And I prayed to God about whether I should be looking towards ministry, and whether I should sort of look to get some sort of qualification. And the thing I kept getting back was, if you're going to work, if you're going to do that kind of work, I want you to work in the Anglican Church. And as I hadn't been part of the Anglican Church for a long time, I was like, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't quite work. The church, we told the church warden about that. And also during that service, it was the 104th birthday service of the church, and the bishop was there in a big service. And I had this overwhelming desire that I should be standing where the vicar was standing during the service. So it's my 3rd week in the church, and I'm thinking, I should be there.
Wow.
And I told that to the church warden afterwards, and she said, well, I've been praying for you and your family. I hadn't spoken to her before.
Yeah.
She knew my eldest daughter, but I hadn't spoken to her before. And she said, when I've been praying for you and your family, because you're new here, which was lovely that a church warden was praying for us.
Yeah.
And it's a big church, it's not small. I really felt the word ordained kept coming up. You better go and talk to the vicar. So I went and talked to the vicar, and he thought it was a good idea for me to go forward and look at becoming a vicar in the long term. I went part-time at work and did the internship that the church offered. So I did a pastoral internship, which involved going round care homes, round addiction rehabilitation clinic, and doing things within the church. And the church also offered sort of some theological training and training in discipleship and stuff like that. So part of the thing about the Anglican Church is when you hit a certain milestone in your age, you're meant to do part-time training, which meant you're meant to work alongside your study. And my internship basically said, if that's not going to work, no, it's not going to work. So at the end of the internship, I'd gone through a whole load of processes as well with the Anglican Church, several people interviewing me over a year, and it got to a thing called a BAP, which is a Bishop Advisories Panel. It's a 3-day interview. But before that, you went and met the bishop. So I told her my story, I told her how I felt the process had gone, and she said, right at the end of the interview, she sort of said, I want to put you forward, but I'm going to recommend the diocese pays for you to go any college in the UK
Wow.
to do whichever course you want for 2 years. Now, as we were living in Clevedon, it made sense to go to Bristol. Because there's children at school and colleges and stuff.
You could get there easy,
Yeah, that's it.
So then fast forward to now, and you're here as curate at St. Martin's. Now, obviously, there's a whole journey that you've gone through to get to that point.
And it's not just you on a journey.
Yeah.
It's your whole family is on a journey with you.
Yeah, right, yeah. And so how long will you be here as curate?
Okay, so my curacy is we're quite fortunate in Cornwall. They offer 4-year curacies. Many dioceses only offer 3-year curacies.
Right.
So at the end of this year, hopefully, I'll get ordained again. But first time I was ordained as a deacon, which means I can do most things apart from weddings and communion. And then at the end of this year, hopefully I'll be ordained as a priest, and then I'll be able to do weddings and communion as well. So it's not over yet.
Yeah, you're still on that journey. But I suppose in these things, actually, all of it is part of a journey anyway, isn't it? You're kind of always growing and always meeting new challenges. So even when you do become a fully fledged vicar, it's not that's not going to change, is
that's
it? You're
right.
still going to have
and that's part of being I guess a spiritual leader, because you're always growing. You're always your relationship with God is never stagnant. It's always changing, because you're a living thing and God's a living thing.
Yeah. So that was our curate, Phil, who's been here for a few months, as he said, and it's just really interesting hearing his story. So join us next week as we will hear from other people in the church and hear more stories of what God has done in their lives and how that has linked in with what's happening here at St. Martin's Church. Join us then.